Dear members, and especially our visitors and guests, please note this following important announcement. By attending this remote Zoom meeting event, which is also live streamed on YouTube, you agree to the public policy of Toastmasters International, as well as the unassociated remote hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as name, image, and any shared messages, will be recorded. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International and Leadership Speak and/or any of its members from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use or distribution of said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. Dear Zoom Master, kindly start the recording. Thank you. Welcome to Leadership Speak, an advanced Toastmasters Club for leadership development. We are one of the top 5 clubs globally. Our club mission is to provide you with a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Please listen to our leadership statement. Leadership Speak is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. I request our timer to have his virtual hand raised. Great. Our timer has a virtual hand raised so we can all immediately see who is keeping time. Today, our Toastmaster of the day is Joyce Kibe. Joyce Kibe is a professional banker professionalizing in finance and credit. She is a dedicated leader, a dedicated Toastmaster. In fact, she's a member of more than one club. She's a member of Leadership Speak. She's the president of her club, Blue Eagles, and she's also a division director of the program quality docket for her division. She mentors several individuals in the division. She is also a coach. She enjoys empowering individuals to grow in confidence and leadership. In addition to her leadership roles, she's a financial advisor, helping people make informed financial decisions for a secure financial future. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow guests, please join me in welcoming our Toastmaster of the day, Joyce Kibe. Over to you, Joyce.
Thank you. Thank you, Rosie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from Kenya. I'm elated today to be your Toastmaster of the day. Our guests, we are elated to have you, and we will be posting a guest book by our PR master. We look forward to engaging with you after the meeting and also to know how you find our meeting. Our PR master, kindly post the guest book in the chat box. Today, I invite you to explore leadership skill that operates quietly but powerfully behind every great decision, every effective speech, and every personal breakthrough. Metacognitive awareness, which is thinking about our thinking. In a rapidly changing world, leadership is no longer defined by how much you know, but how well you think about your thinking. This is where metacognitive awareness becomes a powerful leadership advantage. I want to ask you this evening, have you ever reacted in a moment and later thought, I wish I handled that differently? Indulge me in the chat. You can raise your hand. That moment of reflection is metacognition in action. Metacognition is the ability to think about our thinking. It turns our experience into insight and insight into excellence. Metacognitive awareness is the ability to step back and observe your own thoughts, emotions, assumptions, and decision-making patterns. Leaders who practice these don't merely react to situations, they respond with intention. In Toastmasters, we practice this skill a lot, almost every single day, where we prepare our speeches, we plan our thinking. When we receive evaluations, we reflect on our performance. At an advanced level, communication mastery is no longer about what we say, but how consciously we choose our words, structure our ideas, and manage our internal dialogue. Metacognition is the awareness that allows us to step outside our own minds and ask, what am I thinking? What assumptions am I making? Is this reaction serving my purpose or limiting it? As speakers, evaluators, and leaders, metacognition allows us to adapt consciously rather than automatically, learn from feedback, not just receive it, turn experience into insight and insight into mastery. As you participate today, take a conscious pause and ask, what am I thinking right now? And how is it shaping me as a communicator? Because when we become aware of our thinking, we elevate our speaking, our leadership, and our impact. So let us be mindful not only of what we say, but how we think it and how we say it. Let's all enjoy our meeting that we are about to start. Our first speaker this evening is Amber Katrina. Zoom master, kindly spotlight Amber. Thank you. Amber will be giving a toast. She's a life coach who believes metacognitive awareness is essential for preventing harm caused by unexamined leadership. She uses reflective coaching to help individuals reclaim their personal power and lead consciously in all areas of life. Welcome, Amber, to the virtual stage.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today as we explore this idea together, leading with metacognitive awareness. But what does that actually mean in day-to-day life? In a nutshell, as we heard, it is not just about doing what we do, but it's about the way we think about what we do. In this fast-paced world, it is so important for us to become more and more conscious. Why? Because we are under so much pressure that it's so easy for us to inadvertently slip into autopilot. Allow for that subconscious mind, reactive one, to take over and hijack our conscious leadership. Before we realize it, we are overreacting, we are jumping to conclusions, we are throwing solutions at the people without even having gathered all of the thoughts, acting off of habit rather than studied, slow, clear thought. Now, when you catch yourself doing this, please don't beat yourself up. And I say when because it will happen to all of us. As Tony Robbins says, everything that someone does and says is either coming from a place of love or it's a cry for help. So when we are in that reactive state, that is a cry for help. But here's the beauty of it. It tells you, it reminds you that you are human. So congratulations. Stop a moment, pause, and ask yourself those important questions. Why am I responding like this? Where is this feeling coming from? And what does it tell me about myself, my subconscious beliefs? And how can I best align myself to what I truly value so that I act in integrity? After all, that is precisely what the journey of a self-directed leader is. So, ladies and gentlemen, please unmute your microphones, turn on your cameras, and raise your glasses.
Yes.
Here is leading with metacognitive awareness.
Leading
with
metacognitive
awareness.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers.
everyone.
Thank you, Amber. Everything that someone does comes from the point of cry or for help. Don't beat yourself too much. Thank you for that. Our first role taker this evening is Ray Rivero. Ray is our timer this evening. He is a charter member of Leadership Speak, a distinguished Toastmaster, and mentors since 2012. He believes effective leadership requires moving from reaction to observation, using metacognitive awareness to choose responses that create meaningful impact. Ray, kindly tell us what your role entails this evening.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Good day, fellow Toastmasters, members of Leadership Speak, and guests. I am Ray Rivero, and I will be your timer for today. And I will be timing all of our speakers according to the times listed on the agenda. And I will post these times into the chat box area. For our speakers, their speeches will be 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, it'll be green, yellow at 6, red at 7. Except for Atul. He is our Leadership Speak education speaker, so the green will appear at 18, yellow at 20, red at 22. For our evaluators, it'll be 2 to 3 minutes, where green will be at 2, yellow at 2.5, red at 3. And with that, I conclude my explanation as the role in the timer and turn it back over to our Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray, for that sunset introduction. Our second role taker will be our grammarian, the person who will check how we are using our King's language, Hamuk. And the theme on metacognitive awareness resonated with me as a reflective person. It inspired her to examine her thinking more deeply and lead with greater intention. Hamuk, kindly tell us what your role entails.
Thank you. Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters and guests, as grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I will take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word is consciousness. It's a noun, which means the state of being aware of one's thoughts, feelings, and surroundings. An example of using the word is consciousness allows leaders to recognize their actions before responding. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting and also read reports on the usage of the word of the day. I will also post the word of the day in the chat box for everyone to review. Thank you. Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you, our grammarian. Today we'll be conscious on how we speak and how we think. At this point, I want to welcome our VIPs here at Leadership. We are glad to have you as our guests. We hope that you will learn a lot and have a lot of takeaways. Our PR master will be posting the guest book in the chat box. Kindly fill it in, and at the end of the meeting, we will get in touch with you and just know just slightly more about you. And at this point, I am very excited. I am looking forward to learning what is this metacognitive awareness. Our education speaker this evening is a gentleman we know, ever smiling. I like that about him. Atul Sankar, he will be our education speaker this evening. He's an entrepreneur in real estate, construction and trading operating in Tanzania and India. He serves as a division director for District 114, leading Toastmasters activities in Tanzania and Ethiopia, and is a proud active Toastmaster known for ethical leadership and public speaking. He's an environmental advocate who has participated in over 300 beach cleanup initiatives. Did you hear how many? 30 beach cleanup initiatives, and such as director at Sustainable World Initiatives and MBRC in Tanzania. Atul is the managing director of Dar Manor Limited and director and COO of Ujenzi Group. His passion includes traveling and exploring and new cultures and destinations. Atul, welcome to the virtual stage.
Distinguished guests, fellow Toastmasters, and friends, let me tell you a story about Sarah, an imaginative person, a brilliant principal at high performance school. When budgets cut threatened the arts program, she made a decision that saved it. Reallocating funds from professional development to preservance every music class and an art supply. The community celebrated her. Parents praised her. The local newspapers ran a feature. Principal puts students first. But 6 months later, Sarah sat in her office, head in her hands, and teachers' morale was plummeting. Innovation had stalled. The very way educators who made a school excellent were burning out, unprepared for new challenges. Feeling undervalued, Sarah had won the battle and lost the sight of the war. And in moment of painful honesty, she asked herself a question that changed everything. What was I actually thinking when I made that decision? Not that she decided, but how did she think? What values did she believe that was honoring? And what values did her thinking actually reveal? Tonight, to morning, to some of us, to afternoon, to few of us, I want to challenge you with a proactive idea. The quality of your leadership is only as good as the quality of your thinking, and we cannot improve what we do not examine. Developing metacognitive leaders, as at Leadership Speak, as we all are self-directed leaders or transforming ourselves to be self-directed leaders. As a part of self-directed leaders, it is our responsibility, it is our consciousness to have and to develop metacognitive leadership capability. Just for a moment, let us think, let us introspect. What is metacognition? It is the thinking of how we are thinking. How many of us have done it? Like each institution, there are values. Like each one of us, we have values. As Toastmasters, we believe in RISE, respect, integrity, service, and excellence. And I believe myself, I have these values and I embedded in my personal life as well. That is respect, integrity, service, and excellence. And it's not just we're speaking about that values. It is about how well every decision in our life has been taken using these values. For an example, maybe there was an issue, and that issue, I got angry, I disrespected, I spoke out of what I could. But then you think back again, you introspect yourself, you see the reflection. Did I follow my values, which should have respect, which should have integrity and service and excellence? So I missed the first value, which is respect, because there was some small issue. I lost the respect and I started shouting or I started abusing. Or maybe there was a chance to take some money or to get corrupted. And I manipulated things in my personal life or at Toastmasters. And that is diminishing my integrity, diminishing my service, diminishing my excellence. And it is us. We need to think with metacognition. Was our thinking right? Was our thinking in the right edge? Are we going in the right aspect? So today, let's learn about the few things about metacognition and how to develop it. The metacognition imperative. Metacognition means thinking about thinking. The ability to step outside of your own mental processes and observe them, question them, refine them. But for leaders, it's far more than an academic concept. It is a survival skill. Don't we think that being a self-directed leader, it is a survival skill? Every decision you make, every strategy you pursue, every person you hire, all it flows through the quality of your thinking. They say when you have a bigger vision, you achieve something big. And they say when your thinking is leading to your actions, if you're not paying to attention how you think, you're flying blind. Self-directed leaders understand something fundamental. They are responsible not for just what they do, but for the thought processes that generate actions. And this is where values enter the conversation. We all have values we claim to live by: integrity, innovation, compassion, respect, excellence. But we put them on our walls, in our mission statements, on our LinkedIn profiles. But there is the uncomfortable question: are those values actually present in our thinking? Or they are just decorative words we refer after the fact to justify decisions we have already made? The metacognitive leaders asks, are my values embedded in my thinking process? Or I'm just using them as a PR? Because they are profound between a leader, This with the value of collaboration and a leader who's thinking actively incorporates diverse perspectives. Value based leadership is really important. It's isn't about what you claim, it's about what shows up when you examine your actual thinking. We shall refine and audit on daily basis, like the way we said about time management. We do the time audits, we do energy management, we do our thinking management and thinking audits on every end of the day. Imagine how well your thinking will be. Better the thinking, better the ideas, better the ideas, better the creativity, better the flow of execution, and your metacognitive and self-directed leaders. Because leadership is about strategy and thinking. So let us discuss the four pillars of metacognitive leadership. Pillar one, pre-decision reflection. Am I thinking with my values? I repeat, pillar one, pre-decision reflection. Am I thinking with my values? Before any significant decision, the metacognitive leader asks, which values am I using to think through this situation? 3 years ago, I faced a choice with a struggling teacher. The data was clear. Student outcomes were below standard. The easy decision was to transition them out. But I paused and asked, what values are driving my thinking right now? Efficiency, yes. Accountability, absolutely. But what about my compassion, development, believing in people's potential? When I examined my thinking, I realized I was optimized for comfort. My comfort, so I shifted. I asked if I truly valued human development, how would I think about this differently? The question changed everything. Instead of a performance plan, I created a growth partnership. That teacher is now one of our strongest team members. Not because I changed what I did first, but because I changed how I thought first. So, friends, let us focus on pillar one, that is pre decision reflection. Am I thinking with my values? Pillar two, during action awareness, is my thinking service or sabotaging? Is my thinking service or sabotaging? This is the hardest pillar because it requires catching yourself in the act of thinking. The metacognitive leader develops what I call the inner observer, mentally splitting yourself in two. One part fully engaged in the discussion, the other watching and asking, why did I just feel defensive? Am I listening to understand or respond? It's reaction versus responding. Is this excitement about a good idea or ego wanting to be right? Last month, presenting a new initiative, a colleague raised a concern I hadn't considered. My immediate response was defensive. They're trying to undermine this. My inner observer kicked me in. Wait, is it that true? Or am I just uncomfortable being challenged? I choose curiosity. Tell me more about that concern. They identified a genuine flaw that would have caused the entire initiative to fail. My thinking was about to sabotage me, but metacognitive awareness saved me. How many of us did face the same situation? I did many a times. I used to scroll down, I used to shout, I used to grumble, and then at night I used to think and analyze regarding what happened in that situation. And then I analyzed. I got that answer, yes. Because when I did my curiosity thinking, you always find with facts and evidences. And as humans, we always go logical. And when we think of with logic and we consider all the data inputs, then we understand, yes, the other person also was right. Maybe I could have spoken better. Maybe at a club meeting, due to some unforeseen circumstances, you're not able to submit your report, or you're not able to submit your leadership leadership speak evaluation. But does not mean that person is not committed. But does not mean that person doesn't want to speak. We never know the empathetical situation of that person, what he has gone through, how is it being. Maybe some of the days are very busy, and some of the days are traumatic. And as said, maybe some days, some of the countries are feeling extremely cold, and some of the countries in East Africa are feeling extremely hot. Both are both are damaging. Even myself, I live in a place known as Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. It's extremely heat. I get dehydrated every single day, and my head starts to break. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us have empathy in ourselves. And during action awareness, let us think, is my thinking serving or sabotaging? That is the pillar 2. And let us come to pillar 3, post action introspection. Did my thinking create the impact I intended? Most leaders make decisions, execute, and move on. We rarely examine the gap between what we intended and what we created. Chris identified a crucial distinction. It is known as espoused theory, what we say we believe, and theory in use, what our behavior reveals. After significant decisions, I could had an impact audit. I asked those affected, what impact did you experience? What do you think I was trying to accomplish? What values guided my approach? The first time I was brutal. I would be implemented an accountability system. I I I thought honored excellency and transparency, but my team's words were micromanaged, distrusted, demoralized. My espoused theory, I valued excellency and transparency. My theory in use, I don't trust you. My thinking had betrayed my values. Good intentions don't equal good impact. So, friends, let us have a detailed study. Let us see, let us take an audit every now and then by reviewing yourself, reviewing your colleagues. How was your thinking? Did I act with my principles of the values? Did I act with the values which I was aligned to? And you will know, you will be knowing whether you're being on track or not. It's just like a metacognitive tracker. Don't forget the pillar 3, post action introspection. Did my think create an impact, or did my thinking create the impact I intended? And the last pillar, which is the pillar 4, values calibration. Are my espoused values and enacted values aligned? Once a month, I audit my thinking patterns against my stated values, that is, respect, integrity, service, and excellence. Last quarter, I claimed to value innovation, but when I reviewed my decision, I noticed a pattern. Every unconventional proposal, my first thought was, what are the risks? Not what are the possibilities. My stated values was innovation. My enacted values was safety. The calibration forced me to choose, change my stated values or change my thinking. I chose the later, my new practice. What becomes possible if this works? Small shift in thinking, massive shift in culture. I repeat, small shift in thinking is massive shift in culture. What a powerful statement. And every time when we are focusing on a project, we're focusing on a family or focusing personally, we all should believe with our values and we all should think whether we are following it or not. For example, I'm a Division D director. I'm handling Ethiopia, the whole of Tanzania, and parts of Kenya in my district 114. And I should every day think or weekly think, audit, okay, am I serving with excellence? Am I doing justice to the role I have taken? I know being a division director doesn't pay me. There is no monetary benefit. There are no perks in Toastmasters. But your values, that are important. You have committed. You committed yourself to serve two countries. You committed yourself to serve the people of Toastmasters. They've trusted you and voted for you. Would you not like to serve what you promised? Some of the days, honestly speaking, I'm lazy to do that. Some of the days I find good doing it. Some of the days I feel escaping my work. But then every week when I audit, I feel I need to serve more. Serve selflessly because you asked for it. You got for it and you promised them that you will serve them. These four practices you can start immediately. One, daily thinking journal, 5 minutes documenting not what you decided, but how you thought. Two, the weekly values check-in. When did my thinking align my values? When did it betray me? Three, finding a thinking partner, someone who with permission to question your thought process. Four, the 24-hour rule. Before big decision, wait and examine your thinking. Some might say this sounds like a lot of work, but how much time do you spend cleaning up of consequences of poor thinking, rebuilding trust after value misaligned decisions? Be it a company, be it an organization, just imagine a small thinking default can change $1 billion company into a bankruptcy company. Metacognitive leadership isn't just adding more to your plate, it is preventing the messes that overload it. After the painful moment of self examination, Tara didn't just change what she did, she changed how she thought. She started bringing her thinking into the open. I notice I'm feeling defensive. Let me pause and think about why. At first, her team was uncomfortable, but when Sarah modeled a metacognitive awareness, her team started doing it too. Teachers examined assumptions about students. The counseling team questioned habitual approaches. The culture shifted from defend your position to examine your thinking. That is the ripple effect. When you take responsibility for the quality of your thinking, you give others the permission to do the same. We don't create cultures of excellence by demanding excellent results. We need consciousness, a deep consciousness. We create them by modeling excellent thinking. Your legacy as a leader will be profound in how you thought, in the values that lived not just on your wall, but in your mental processes. In the example, you set a leader willing to look inward before acting outward. Here's my challenge. This week, choose one significant decision before you make it. Write down the values you want to guiding your thinking. Then ask yourself, did my thinking honor those values? Did it create the impact I intended? What did I learn about the gap between who I want to be and how I actually think? Start there. Just one decision, one moment of metacognitive awareness. Because the journey to becoming a metacognitive leader doesn't start with getting it right. It starts with being willing to look. Thank you. Hands to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, DTM Atul. That was very, very educative. And I'm seated here and thinking, all of us, we are seated on our seats, in our cars, wherever we are. And as self-directed leaders, we are all thinking. The only difference is that, are we thinking in a metacognitive way? And when you achieve bigger vision, you think big. Those are some of the takeaways that I took. I'm also seated here asking myself, are my values embodied in my metacognition process? Audit your thinking on a daily basis. That's something to think about. And now to the juicy part of the meeting, our prepared speeches. And our first speaker this meeting is Vinod Panicker. Vinod will be evaluated by Arona So. Arona? Thank you. Hi, Vinod.
Hi, Joyce.
Hi, how are you? Hi, Arona,
Top
how
of
are
the
you?
world.
I am good.
Good. So, Arona, kindly tell us what Vinod's speech and what he is doing today. Over
Thank you,
to
Madam
you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good day, fellow Toastmaster and esteemed guests. Today, I have the privilege to evaluate Vinod's speech. Vinod will present a project about connecting with storytelling. This is an effective elective project, level 3 from presentation mastering pathway. And the objective of this project is for Vinod to practice using a story within a speech, giving a story that is, or giving a speech that is a story. Vinod may use any type of story, personal, well-known fiction, or one of his own creation. In addition to the primary objective of this project, Vinod told me to focus on the connection skills, his connection skills with the audience and his voice. The time delivering of Vinod's speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and during the evaluation part, I will give my report on Vinod's speech. Best of luck, Vinod, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster Bede.
Thank you, Arona. Vinod Panicker is a lifelong learner, Toastmaster for the last 10 years. Currently, he's a sales director in UAE. To him, metacognitive awareness is when the observer becomes aware of the observing process itself. Vinod Panicker, the butterfly, Vinod Panicker. Over to you.
Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a boy. Every morning, when the boy woke up, he used to go out and run after butterflies. His whole life revolved around playing with the butterflies. From morning till evening, whenever he got time, he just used to run after butterflies. One day, while during his break, he was running after the butterfly, one of his school teacher saw him. The teacher called the boy, "Son, come here. What are you doing?" "Sir, I love butterflies. I was chasing them." Girls chase butterfly. Boys play football. You see the ground over there? Go and play football with the boys. "But sir, why should I kick a dead ball when I can play with a lively thing?" "Just do what I say." The boy put his head down and went to the ground. And while he was playing, he saw a butterfly coming next to him. He looked at the butterfly. He became conscious of what his teacher said. Girls play with butterfly. Boys play football. From that day, the boy stopped chasing butterflies. He just got up, came to school during the break, played football, went home. When he grew up, he wanted to take a certain subject, but his parents said, no, that was not good. Take this subject. The boy took that subject, studied, and passed with flying colors. Some of you may relate to that. I can. When he grew up, instead of doing a job that he wanted to do and he loved to do, his parents said, if you do this job, you will not get enough money. Do this. The boy followed that. Then he got married, had a kid, then another kid. Then one day, while he was playing football with two of his kids, after some time, when he got tired and sat down, that was the time to do some metacognitive thinking. And while he was thinking what had happened in his life previously, and why was he not happy? No matter what he did, how good he was, he never felt happy from inside. At that same time, a butterfly came and sat on the football. The man looked at that butterfly and, in a flashback, quickly remembered everything that had happened in his life. And he realized he stopped being happy the day he stopped chasing butterflies. How many of us have done that? How many of us have left our dreams just because our parents wanted to do something other thing with us? I heard this story from one of the world champions of public speaking, Dhananjay Hitarachi, almost 10 years ago. And this story became the core of my life. And that time I had decided whatever regrets I had in life, I will pursue it. 3 years ago, I completed my MBA. But now I have discovered something more. That just like that boy used to run after butterflies, not a single butterfly, there are many more dreams left in life. And that is when I came across David Evan's book, Design Your Life. It's a course that is for the graduates of MIT and Stanford, where the professor says every one of us has at least 3 to 4 dreams, and we can achieve all of them if we go behind them by designing our life. And that is what I want all of you to take away today. What are the dreams that you have? When I say dreams or the things that you like to do, I'm not talking about the things that you are good at. Just because you are good at something does not mean you have to do it. I am talking about the things that will give you energy. Most Toastmasters, at least who have spent 10 years or 10 years or more, are very passionate of serving and speaking and motivating people, right? So many of you may say the meaning of life is to give others meaning in life. For me, it is to become a trainer, coach, and speaker, to get into sports management, to start a manufacturing industry, something in manufacturing industry. And the fourth, I am thinking. But whatever it is, you can achieve all of this. But first, write down what is it that you want to do in the next 5 years. And the first thing that you need to do is meet the people who have achieved what you want to do. Take that first step today. Write down your dreams and start meeting those people who have achieved what you have achieved. And this platform of Leadership Speak is one of the best platforms, members from 32 countries, where you can connect with whomever you want. They say that every person in this world, the seventh connection can reach to anyone. Think about it. Which are the butterflies you still need to catch? Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinod, for that speech and reminding us that we need to continue chasing our dreams. Yes, after this meeting, I will go back and see which dreams I am going to continue chasing for the next 5 years. Our next speaker is Jyothi Thomas. Jyothi? So, Master, kindly spotlight Jyothi. And Jyothi will be evaluated by Jennifer Ghosh. Hi, Jyothi. You're on mute. Hi, how are you? Jyothi, can you hear me? I can't hear you.
I
Good.
can hear.
Good.
Thank you.
Hi, Jennifer, you well?
Hi.
All right. So kindly tell us what Jyothi's project is for this
Sure.
meeting. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Jyothi Thomas will be giving her level 3 elective, Inspire Your Audience, from the path Engaging Humor. Title is Time is 5 to 7 minutes. I'll leave the title for the Toastmaster. As per the purpose of Jyothi's evaluation, the project is for Jyothi to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. And the purpose of the speech is for the member to inspire the audience. I'm repeating that. The purpose of the speech is for the member to inspire the audience. I'm looking forward to Jyothi's speech. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Jyothi, as a gestalt practitioner and a certified mentor to women entrepreneurs with experience working with over 2,000 women and children in the unorganized sector, she approaches each day as a new beginning and an opportunity to learn. For her, Toastmaster is a metacognitive journey toward becoming a more aware, empathetic, and sensitive leader. Jyothi Thomas, live the experience, live the experience. Jyothi Thomas, over to you.
January 3rd, we had a special speech. In that, there was a quote. Most speakers spend years learning techniques. Very few ever understand what actually creates impact. That was the quote which Brahm mentioned. Live the experience. For me, Toastmasters, or for many, earlier it used to be, give a speech, check it off, get evaluated, give a speech, check it off, move on. As much as we enjoy ourselves, we keep doing that. And I enjoy the experience. Today we're talking about metacognition, consciousness. I would like to ask every one of you, how many of us think about it while we are doing our things on a daily basis? A shift happened one day, one round-robin day. Well, you all know, it was a Tuesday when I was delivering my Motivate Others speech. I gave my speech to motivate, I felt good, and I put it under the title called the Rasa. All the round-robin members there gave me wonderful feedback.
out of that, 2 ladies. Well, Jyothi, I know you can do it. I would like to ask, how did you put that into practice? The 4 motivational strategies, the 4 types they talk about. In my head, I said, I just know how to do it. The second lady, the same softness, quietly, everything was good. And this was something you can address. Boom. That was it. Outside, I was smiling, went back. The meeting was over. That night, I couldn't sleep. It felt like, now start imagining, you're standing by the ocean. In the sand, the water hits your feet. The first wave comes slowly. Your feet go slowly into the sand. It pulls back. Then comes the next wave with a force, silently when you don't even realize it. That is when it happens. The nuggets that the 2 ladies said, everybody gave a lot of good things, but yet 2 things stung me. It came not like a soft wave, it hit me like a tsunami. If you were thirsting for water, you were cutting a well, the water is gushing out. Can you stop that? You can never do that. I felt like this child who was thirsting, wanting to know, how am I going to answer this? There is an answer. I know how to do it. I can just do it. It's like the back of my hand. But ladies, no. That question stayed in my mind. I went back, rolled back, recreated that moment. For me, I always think motivation has a shelf life. How many of you believe in that? If you don't, you will think and you will say yes afterwards. Motivation starts. Inspiration puts you right there. It keeps you there. You will never be able to get away. Fellow Toastmasters, that project evaluation, I'm going to ask of you, how many of us here have had that moment where there's been a speech that's kept you wrapped up? That evaluator who has given you that one nugget that says, go back, think, come back. Saying it with all humility, with softness, with complete conscious spirit to uplift the speaker. We always say your speech is as good as the last evaluations. All of us know that. When I say inspiration is not like motivation, I would like to justify by saying inspiration keeps working quietly, even when you're sleeping. It will not let you sleep. The 2 ladies who brought that to me are sitting right here. And they say it so calm, quietly, softly, not as loud as I'm saying. But yet, when I took on that, it wasn't a challenge. Today's speech is about inspiring every one of you through my Motivate Others. Why do you have to be inspired? I realized you need to sit with that one thought, that one pull. It makes you flow. The very next week, I had an interview. And when somebody asked me about how I was going to motivate the team, I came bang on. All that I said was one project, one experience, the action will right be there. And I put down everything as to how I will motivate. My team of 250 women are on their own. No micromanaging, no nothing. I can sit here, call, and just give them instructions. It went on. Documented, photographed, with testimonials, I stand today in front of you. I ask all of you, while we motivate, remember, stay inspired with those voices which wake up your inner soul. We have no time to look at anything, but to keep moving. Once you find that oh sweet spot, you can never take that away. And that speech truly will be your signature speech. Pause. Pick one nugget. Live beyond the borders, the boundaries of Toastmasters, and serve the community. Thank you. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Jyothi, for reminding us inspiration and motivation. And for sure, inspiration keeps us working in our hearts, in our sleep. We are always thinking about those things that inspire us. Thank you for that speech. Our third speaker is Irfan Farooq. Irfan Farooq, and Irfan will be evaluated by Gada Almajokish. Hope I got that spelling right. Gada.
Totally right.
Hi, Irfan. How are you?
I'm fine.
Gada, you're well?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you so much.
Good.
So,
Over to you. Sorry. Please go on.
no. Good. Thank you.
Go ahead and tell us what Farooq's project is for this meeting.
Okay, it's my pleasure to be Irfan's evaluator for the second time. Hello,
Second
Irfan.
time.
Hi.
Hello.
So the project is from Motivational Strategy Pathway. Take a pause. Level 3, path 1, and also it's about the purpose of the project is to cultivate an understanding how emotions impact the relationship and how to and also to share some aspect of the emotional awareness experience. It's 5 to 7 minutes speech. Irfan asked me to focus on the linkage between the topic and the theme. So good luck, Irfan. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Gada. Irfan is a seasoned business professional with 40 years of experience and a lifelong commitment to learning. He continually reflects on his behaviors and patterns, using self-awareness to drive personal growth and continuous improvement. Irfan's theme, or rather the speech title, is Take a Pause. Irfan Farooq, take a pause. Take a pause, Irfan Farooq. Over to you.
I am a very intelligent person. Throughout my life, I have believed I am an intelligent person. How many of you believe that you also are intelligent? Just give some sign to confirm how many of you believe you are intelligent. Thank you. I had always a belief that what is intelligence? In my opinion, the intelligence was to be logical. I have always believed that an intelligent person is a person that has logic with him. When he talks, knowledge flows with him. When he talks, his communication is full of facts, figures, realities, truth, something that can be proved. And this is, in my opinion, had always been the intelligent person, a person who can argue, who can win, or rather who wins every debate. He never fails in a debate. Whenever there is an argument, an intelligent person is the person who wins it.
And I adopted this level of intelligence in my life. Tried to win every debate, except, let me say, a debate in my family. Whenever there was an argument with my wife, all those arguments ended by me confessing, sorry, dear, it was my fault. Ladies and gentlemen, I tried to adopt a conscious effort that I should monitor my thinking, my emotions, how I behave in my life. And with that, I started keeping a record of everyday events for about 2 weeks' time. What happened today? How I behaved, how I reacted. With this record, let me share 2 events with you. One event that is available in my record is a meeting that took place in my office. As the head of the section, I had a meeting with everybody sitting over there, including a young new person. I presented on a project that we are starting that this is how we should act. This should be the plan of activity. These are the targets. This is how we will achieve. And one of the person who was quite young and new, he said, "Sir, I think the plan will not work." I got furious. I immediately reacted and said, "What do you mean it will not react? What experience you have about these? How many projects have you done in your life? You are too young to comment on this thing. It is your time to learn, not to tell us what can happen and what cannot happen." Meeting fell silent. Meeting ended. My project was accepted. This is one record that I remember that happened in those period of time. Another event happened. One day I was sitting in my TV lounge. My younger daughter was talking to her friend. And in his communication, she was saying, that song slaps. And while talking about some friend, said, he's a low-key, annoying person. And I said, what are you saying? What language is this? What is this song slaps or low-key, high-key? What is this? She said, Dad, this is not 1950s. And a typical boomer Gen Z disagreement generation gap came onto the surface. Have you ever faced this boomer Gen Z gap in your personal family lives with your youngsters? Those of you who are at least boomers. I then started analyzing, made a conscious effort. I should understand. And with an improved consciousness, I analyzed and I found one thing. It was whenever there are patterns, what are the patterns? So I found out that whenever somebody challenges me, I take it on my ego. I feel he's hurting my ego or she is hurting my ego. I took it like that. With this, I concluded, I understood if the same emotion keeps repeating, the problem is not with the situation, it is with me. And I understood that there is a difference. Intelligence is not logical intelligence. Intelligence can be an emotional intelligence. With this, when I started, I understood the concept of metacognitive awareness. And I realized the journey of emotional intelligence starts with being aware about the metacognitive issues. To understand and observe and examine the behaviors. Understand why people do what they do, why I do what I do. And I intelligently tried to analyze, and I thought I came up with an answer that the intelligence is in pausing, not giving a quick response. Pause between stimulus and response, pause between emotion and reaction. Fellow Toastmasters, I understood that emotional intelligence is understanding and then reacting. Emotional intelligence is not controlling the emotions. It is not letting emotions control you. Today, I still say I'm intelligent because now I know that in the official environment, in the official communication, take a pause, listen to others. In the relationships, take a pause and win the hearts by understanding the emotions, your emotions and the emotions of others. Fellow Toastmasters, now I'm starting a new journey. A journey starting from logical intelligence, moving towards the emotional intelligence. Thank you very much. Back to you, Toastmasters, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Irfan. Journey of emotional awareness starts with metacognitive awareness. That's powerful. I like that. Thank you, Irfan, for reminding us about us being emotionally aware in whatever that we do. Our next speaker is Wahiga Gichinga. Hi, Wahiga.
Hi.
Mute. Good to see you. And Wahiga will be evaluated by Deepa Tak. Hi, Deepa.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Deepa will be evaluating Wahiga, and I'll hand over the virtual stage so you tell us what Wahiga's project entails. Over to you.
Thank you. Toastmasters, good evening to good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the Toastmasters. Toastmaster Wahiga, she's attempting her level 3 project 2 of the Persuasive Influence track using presentation software is the title. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce or review presentation strategies for creating and using slides to support a speech. She will demonstrate their understanding of how to use presentation software, including creation of slides and incorporating technology into it. She wanted me to focus on the visual appeal of the slides and give feedback. Her speech title is Catalyst for Change. All the best to you, and over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Deepa. Wahiga is a leadership coach and a trainer with 9 years of experience as a Toastmaster. She believes metacognitive awareness is essential for leaders to lead themselves effectively, drive personal growth, and provide strong, purposeful leadership to their teams and goals. Wahiga's speech title is Catalyst for Change, Wahiga Gichinga. Over to you.
Moment I share my screen. Toastmasters and guests, is change of fuel all at threats? And what would you consider as the greatest risk in life? Failure or staying the same in a world that never does? A few years back, I worked in an organization that was going through privatization. And its efficiency, productivity, and profitability was drowning in bureaucracy and hierarchy. And due to the need for the company to remain competitive, for the company to continue thriving and unlock success, there was need. for change. And so they brought in this team to steer privatization, to steer change. And part of strategy was to reorganize processes, teams, and the jobs themselves. And at the end of it all, we had people who had sensitive roles who retained their roles. Everybody else got to be shuffled, and they were in different roles and different departments. What that meant is there's a huge group of people that found themselves in a completely new environment and were worried, will they deliver? No. There were two cliques of people. Those that decided to close in the gap between where they were and the new expectations. They were fueled by the courage to show up differently. And they had to skill up, they had to get new networks and do whatever it takes. But there was a different category of people. People who felt they will not change departments, they will not change roles, they will not change teams because that's their formula for success. And most of these people are the people who had the badges of honor. Those that were the success face for the organization so far. They had done so well, but at this point, they felt they wouldn't cross the departments or roles. Unfortunately, they were let go. Well, it was my younger working years, and I was shocked that actually the people leaving are people who are successful. Your bosses are leaving and leaving the rest of us to juggle through this new challenge and make things work. And that remained a challenge for a while. Toastmasters and guests, when is the last time you were at a scene of change, either at a personal, professional, or societal space? Did you ride the change, or did you find yourself resisting change due to the anxiety, the fear, the uncertainty, the pressure? I have gone through several changes. Actually, that's why I'm here. And I'm sure most of us also have done that. And I was lucky enough to come across a book called Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck. Carol Dweck describes two types of mindsets, growth and fixed mindset. A growth mindset is a mindset where a person believes that their capacity, their intelligence can be developed. While a fixed mindset, there's a belief that intelligence, abilities are static. It's black or white. I have it or I don't. Looking at it more deeply, we get to reveal our mindsets when we have a challenge, because that's when we make choices. And when you have a growth mindset, when you have a challenge, you acknowledge, yes, I can do this, but it's not a closed case. You give room to challenge yourself, to grow, to skill up. Why? You're not afraid to fail. Failure is feedback on what you can do so far and how far you need to level up. So with a growth mindset, you take on challenges well. You keep working yourself, you keep putting effort towards where you desire to be. On the other side, with a fixed mindset, when you say, I can't do this, that's it, I can't do this. And you see with that, when there's a challenge, it is challenging how people view you because you feel like it's an attack on yourself. Your image is on the line. And so when you have a fixed mindset, you don't want anything challenging you. And by that, you prefer status quo. Now, when I came across this, it explained much about my experience prior in the privatization and the choices people took. But it did not only reveal that. It also revealed my own choices and mindsets, and realize that I have both fixed and growth mindsets depending on the situation. Imagine days I missed an opportunity because I couldn't take it. I felt I was not qualified for. There's that job I didn't take because I felt I don't have the necessary skill. And tells us how, when we are faced with change and we have to make a choice, it is our mindset that determines what choice we make. Toastmasters and guests, are you aware about your mindset? Are you aware how it influences your choices? There's a Greek philosopher called Heraclitus who says, the only constant in life is change. So he poses to us that change is inevitable. So every other day, seasons are turning, careers are evolving, relationships are shifting, technology is disrupting without checking our readiness for change. Is change a fuel or is it a threat? Is it an obstacle or an opportunity? How is your mindset serving you? Your mindset is your catalyst for change. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Wahiga, and for reminding us again that change is the only thing that is constant. I also like the question, is change a fuel or a threat? And it's for each and every one of us here to continue checking ourselves. Are we having a growth mindset? Are we having a fixed mindset? Thank you. Thank you for that reminder. Our last speaker, and definitely not the least, is Lydiah Wanjiku. Hi, Lydiah.
Hi, Joyce.
Good to see you.
Thank
and
you.
Lydiah will be evaluated by Kanav Puria. Hi, Kanav.
Hey, Joyce.
Thank you. So Kanav, kindly tell us what is a project for Lydiah Wanjiku. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joyce. Toastmaster Lydiah will be attempting level 1, project 4 of engaging humor. It is all about getting a feedback and applying it. So whatever a feedback I will be telling her, she will be either having the same speech or she will have a different speech, apply that particular feedback into her next speech. So it's all about getting the learnings. So kudos, all the best for your speech. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Kanav. Lydiah is an HR specialist, passionate about gender advocacy, serving as the VP of WFPRBN Toastmasters, and as a Toastmaster, has been a Toastmaster for 3.5 years. She views metacognitive awareness as understanding your strengths and weaknesses and takes control of your thinking to tackle challenges more effectively. The speech title of Lydiah Wanjiku's speech is Fuel for Growth, Lydiah Wanjiku. Welcome to the virtual stage.
Have you ever driven your car and then in the middle of nowhere, you see the gauge is blinking? You need to refuel your car. This normally happens because of 2 reasons. Number 1, because the gauge might have been faulty. If not that, you might have been very busy and you never thought of refueling your car. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, just take a moment to close your eyes and try to imagine yourself in this situation. Driving your car in the middle of nowhere, there is no gas station, and your car is blinking that you need to refuel that car. Open your eyes, you are not there, but it makes your heart beat very fast. It's so scary. What I'm telling you happened to me. Some 10 years back, I was driving from Mombasa to Nairobi with my family. I hit a bump, and what happened? The lights went on, and the alarm, again the alarm was on. And my heart, I felt as if I was not having my heart at all. I had to drive slowly outside the road, and I stopped. Fortunately, there was a car behind me that came and stopped. It had a couple who were very friendly, and they asked me, "Madam, do you need any help?" I said, "Yes, I need help." Then immediately another car that was following came and stopped. At that particular time, I started feeling better. And after a short discussion, one of the vehicles took off and got fuel, which I was given. I refilled my car, and we started driving. And we were just some 50 kilometers to Nairobi. I thought I was done with that fuel. Some 10 kilometers to Nairobi, the worst happened. What was that? The car jagged. After that, the lights went on and it stopped. This time I could not drive it along the side of the road. What did I do? This time it was nearer a shopping center, so there were motorbikes, so I had to ask for a mechanic. The mechanic, finally, we got a mechanic who supported me to tow the vehicle to the next garage. After the vehicle was diagnosed, they realized the fuel that I was given, that fuel was not good quality fuel. And that is what messed my engine. And to cut the story short, I had to replace my engine. What am I talking about? Fuel. I'm talking about fuel because fuel has a powerful connection with the feedback that we get in Toastmasters. Just as fuel keeps the car running, feedback keeps speakers growing. I'll give you an example. You were given a club to coach last year. 2 weeks back, I took initiative of calling one of the members who had not renewed. I talked to her, and what she told me, "Lydia, I gave my first speech in my club, which was an icebreaker speech. And since I was full of butterflies, the feedback I got, the only thing I had was, please redo your speech and come and present." And that one killed me. I'm just repeating her words. I talked to her to separate feedback and the speech because she was supposed to talk to the evaluator and get more insights on how to make that speech better. I even invited her, and I'm happy today she joined. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, as Ken Blanchard once said, Feedback is the breakfast of champion. Feedback helps us to see our blind spots. But when we get low quality, it can damage us, just like the low quality fuel that I got, and it damaged my engine. In the same way, careless or vague feedback can discourage the speaker. But high quality feedback that has constructive, specific encouragement will make the speaker improve. Because they normally say that your speech is as good as your last evaluator. In conclusion, what am I saying? Next time you are given opportunity to give feedback, remember, fuel for growth. Feedback is that fuel that will make the Toastmaster to grow. Just like a car, you're supposed to give quality feedback that will make the Toastmaster grow. Because this quality feedback that we are getting, it will make us better public speakers, better communicators, better leaders, and good human beings. Next time, remember, fuel for growth. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, leader. What a way to end the speech session by reminding us feedback makes us grow. Here at Leadership Speak, we are very, very keen about feedback because it is the backbone of our growth. Thank you, all our speakers, for those informative, inspirational speeches. We have learned and we have a lot of takeaways. At this juncture, our guests, thank you for still staying with us. I will request the peer master to post the guest book in the chat box. I request each and every guest to kindly put your details, and we will get in touch at the end of the meeting to just get to know a little bit more about you and how you found our meeting. At this point, I'll also ask the Zoom master to launch the polls so that we can vote for the better speaker. Thank you. The polls are up. Kindly vote. And as we are voting, I will be introducing our general evaluator. As I have said, evaluation is a gift. Here at Leadership Speak, we take it very seriously because it's something that helps us to grow and even go to the next level. Our general evaluator is Buhari Zayad. Hi, Buhari.
Hello, Toastmaster Joyce. Good
Good to
afternoon
see
from
you.
Nigeria.
And good evening
Same
from
here.
Kenya.
Yeah.
All right. So Buhari is a passionate public speaking enthusiast who enjoys motivating and inspiring others. He has served in leadership roles, including as a Vice President Education, President of Gemstones Toastmasters. He's also been an area director in Area 32 and is now a DTM. He also practices martial arts and holds a green belt in Shotokan Karate. Oh, wow. When I asked what Buhari thinks about our theme today, he said metacognitive awareness is the practice of looking inward, cultivating authenticity, and developing oneself before offering value to others. Over to you, Buhari, to take us to the next level.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are joining us across the world. And to our special people, the guests, just like the Toastmaster of the Day said, please endeavor to fill in our guest book. Let me borrow the words of John C. Maxwell, a leadership expert who has authored numerous books on leadership. He said, "Experience is no longer the best teacher, but evaluated experience is the best teacher. We've come to this segment of today's meeting where I would be calling on different evaluators of various speakers and role players that have served in this meeting today. And as the general evaluator, it will also be my responsibility to evaluate the evaluation that took place. Meaning, I wouldn't be evaluating the speeches that were given. Rather, I would evaluate the evaluation given to various speakers. And at the end of the day, I would be wrapping up with my general observations and recommendation for today's meeting. Of course, as Leadership Speak, an advanced club where we deliver with excellence, I would be taking the same route that the Toastmaster of the day has taken. Before calling on every evaluator, those that have filled in the form onto their thoughts of today's theme, I would mention it, take the evaluation, have my comments on what they said on the evaluation, and we move forward. So if you are ready, sit tight and let's move on. According to the agenda, the first evaluator that will be coming up today is our toast evaluation. And Toastmaster Gilda, when asked about her thought about our today's theme, she said, metacognitive awareness is leading with clarity and saving us from regrets. Zoom Master, please, let's have Toastmaster Gilda evaluate our toast for today. Over to you, Toastmaster Gilda.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for the lovely introduction. The theme of every meeting at Leadership Speak is consciously chosen, and it deserves to be celebrated. And that's what Amber did today. She celebrated and honored an important theme to be metacognitively aware. What I like about your toast, Amber, is you explained the theme in a very relatable way. You said, in a day-to-day life, it's not about doing what we do, but it's about thinking what we do. And that was very powerful. What I also like, you assured us that we are human. We could slip sometimes because we live in a fast-paced world, which tells me you prepared your toast in the same way that our theme asks us to behave day to day in a very metacognitively way. You wrote your toast. Well done. You asked me to watch for your pace, and I believe your pace was very relatable to the toast, to the important toast that you were giving everyone. You showed enthusiasm as well. You loved that theme and you spoke about it highly. We could amp your toast by, at the end, when you asked everyone to unmute, raise your glasses, put your video on. This is an invitation to ask everyone to join you with a toast. I would say it with a smile, with a softer tone. All in all, very powerful toast to a powerful theme of the meeting today. Your pace was clear. Your vocabulary were very clear. I like how you explained it in a very relatable way to all of us, and you use empathy with it as well. if we could just invite the guests when we toast, it would be beautiful. Well done. I'm looking forward to your next speech. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gilda, for that thoughtful and well-composed evaluation. What I would say regarding your evaluation is you've said a lot of commendations and also recommendation. I would recommend next time you kind of itemize the commendations and recommendations at the end of your evaluation. Well done, Toastmaster Gilda. Next, ladies and gentlemen, to the pilot of today's meeting, that is the Toastmaster of the day. We are going to have that evaluation, and this evaluation will be taken by none other than Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt. Toastmaster Hannah, please come over and give us the evaluation of how our Toastmaster of the day did. Thank you.
Mr. General Evaluator, ladies and gentlemen, and Joyce. Joyce, your theme for today perfectly aligns with the values of leadership speak. They don't only just lead others, they know how we think before we say it and how we reflect afterward. That's leading with awareness. 14 days ago, as we all should do, you opened the WhatsApp group and added all the role players. Well done. And you kept us updated. You encouraged all to connect with the role players. What's my takeaway for today's meeting? It was commendable to remind the guests in advance, right at the beginning of your meeting, that the guests should sign the guest book and that it would be posted. This invitation could have been repeated a few more times. I know you did it at the end, but have done it a bit more often. The introductions for the speakers were slightly too lengthy. 1 or 2 sentences would be enough. We need to be mindful of the time allocated as per the agenda. You realize that you did not contact the evaluator for the leadership educational speaker and omitted to announce the speech title. Can happen. You made all the evaluators and the speakers feel comfortable when you greeted them during the spotlight. You put them at ease, but I noticed a little bit lack of more enthusiasm from your side. On Thursday, you performed exceptionally well during your dress rehearsal in preparation for today, and it was evident during the performance today. You exuded confidence, though there was a subtle hint of nervousness. Well, as Toastmaster in an advanced club, this can happen. Metacognitive leaders are thermostats. They notice the climate and choose how to respond. And metacognitive leaders may stumble, but they don't stay stuck. And you excelled at leading this meeting responsibly. Congratulations. Joyce, the road to success has no finish line. Go for it. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hannah, for that wonderful evaluation. I would say that the first patchy of attention he did was to also acknowledge the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Joy herself. I would say the conclusion also of pushing her beyond the limits, like you said, learning that never ends. So I wouldn't have much to say as regarding your evaluation. All I would say is if you could vary some vocal variety in terms of pushing her like you did more initially, that would make it more better. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hannah. And ladies and gentlemen, our educational speaker for today would be evaluated by Toastmaster Gerda Felix. And over to you with this evaluation, Toastmaster Gerda.
Thank you, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Atul. Today, Atul was working from Visionary Communication Path Level 5, which is to deliver a keynote speech. What happened today during the presentation of Atul? First, I learned something today. This was an informational speech. The subject of metacognition is a very deep subject, and it was delivered in an educational way. A lot of information was shared. Therefore, there was a lot of knowledge that was shared with us. What made it effective? The questions were on point. You had transitions that made the speech flow, the 4 pillars, and the call to action. It felt to me like a lecture, and at some point, perhaps a sermon almost. What would make this keynote speech even better? Connection. That's what I was looking for today. The connection with you and me, your audience, and the audience in general. You gave us bite size of your story, little stories here and there. What would make it more effective is to share the full story as you demonstrate the different pillars of your keynote. That would have made it even more effective. And I would see myself in you. Another point to be mindful of are, of course, the gestures, especially when you were speaking about the values. As you were telling us about the Toastmasters values and you were enumerating them, here was your gestures. Respect, integrity, service, excellence. I wondered, was it for us to be au garde à vous? Or did you want to bring our attention to those specific values and how we, each of us, embody them? I learned something today. I learned that a keynote is not merely sharing information that we have collected. A keynote is to bring the audience into our personal story so that the message will be delivered in a deep connection. All in all, your presentation was informational. Pay attention to your gestures and the connection with your audience because your eyes were going from left to right. But I thank you that you made a lot of research to deliver this deep-seated theme with us today. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Gerda, for that wonderful evaluation. And of course, Toastmaster Gerda had this to say about our theme, A cognitive shift is an increase in consciousness. Therefore, you become the observer of your own experiences and ask questions instead of reaching, instead of reacting to which will move you forward quickly. Thank you. And one thing I would like to say about your evaluation is that you really had a lot to say. And I would recommend that next time you kind of summarize the points, and the other items that you would want to elaborate more can be a written evaluation to our speaker. Well done. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, guests and speakers, we would be heading to the next evaluator for our first speech, and that will be done by Toastmaster Aruna Shaw. Toastmaster Aruna, if you're with us, please take the virtual lectern.
Thank you, Junior Evaluator, fellow Toastmaster, and esteemed guest. Vinod, your speech was well structured from the beginning to the end, starting with the story of the boy pursuing a butterfly in the village instead of playing football, sharing with us challenges this boy was facing by choosing between what he loved and what he decided to choose based on advice he received. Vinod, you share with us what you learned from the story and how you apply it in your personal life, and connected your takeaways to what you learned at Toastmaster and especially at Leadership Speak. Vinod, you decided to deliver your speech as a story, and it was easy to follow your speech. Your message was clear. Your end gesture and the way you use the space were also good. We were able to see how you use your hands to show us the movement of the butterfly. You have achieved the objective of your project. Now, imagine if you could have more vocal variety, especially when the teacher was speaking. It will improve your speech delivery. For the next time, try to add more vocabulary when you are telling a story. Overall, it was a good speech, and we are looking forward to see you for your next project. Back to you, dear Junior Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Aruna, for your evaluation. What I would recommend in your evaluation is specifically when you mention vocal variety, I would have loved to hear you pick one or two of the places where Toastmaster Vinod would have incorporated vocal variety practically so that we could have a headway. But then, thank you so much. Next, Toastmasters and guests, our second evaluator for the second speech is going to be Toastmaster Jennifer Kosh. Toastmaster Jennifer, if you're here with us, please take it up.
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator. Jyothi, you are a clever speaker. Opening with a quote totally got the audience hooked. What I truly liked about your simple but very relatable speech was about giving speeches, getting feedback, ticking off the checklist. That connected with me fully because it was so much what we normally do. I also liked what you managed to bring in consciously about metacognitive thinking, which was carried out by you, especially when giving your practice session on a Tuesday evening titled Rasa. I would have loved to know what Rasa actually meant. If you could have given us the full form, it would have kept me even more hooked. You kept the speech body deep in terms of 2 feedbacks you received by your round robin evaluators. Who are, you said, sitting in the meeting today? That was a very nice touch of humor. The nuggets that you received from them did not allow you to sleep. And that, intrigued you to go into that mode of metacognitive thinking. I loved your delivery. It was energetic and full of life. Your voice, your hands, your expression, watching it, going right into the camera was absolutely spot on. If I had to give you some recommendations, I felt that your call to action or the message that you wanted to give to the audience, the Toastmasters who were sitting there today, came in a bit too late. You wanted them to use this metacognitive thinking before giving an evaluation. And I think it came in a bit too late. It was hurried, and in my opinion, took away from the beautiful message that you wanted to deliver. There was also very minor interaction with members. This was a big part of your project objectives. You could have had more time to interact with members to meet or fulfill your project goals. In summary, opening was great, body was deep, loved your delivery and energy. If you could have had your call to action come in a bit earlier and had interacted with the audience, it would have been a totally rounded speech for me. But thank you. I totally enjoyed your speech. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jennifer, for this evaluation. I would say that you've encapsulated everything in a way that at the end of the day, you had to summarize what you said for the speaker to even feel attached to the recommendations that you were giving. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, ladies and gentlemen, the next evaluator will be Toastmaster Gerda, who will evaluate the third speaker. When I asked Toastmaster Gerda about her thought on today's theme, she said, she is on a journey of metacognitive awareness, learning to observe my thoughts, and this shift has completely transformed how I understand myself and my choices. I've witnessed powerful life-changing results that continue to shape my growth and clarity every day. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome Toastmaster Gerda for her evaluation. Over to you.
Thank you, Puhari. So, for Irfan, thank you for your speak. What a powerful and engaging opening. Good overall flow from your personal beliefs to the examples, relatable examples from the family or workplace discussions to the 2-week reaction record method. And also the effective body language, especially when you were describing your emotional reaction, unconscious emotional reactions. Also, the strong use of key terms such gaps, ego, patterns, and the word of the day, consciousness. As you asked me, there was a clear element with the theme of metacognitive awareness, encouraging reflection of thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Some recommendation, you might add an explanation of how we've learned our emotional reaction, from where we have learned this. And also explain why learning emotional intelligence is important, and highlight the advantages of developing emotional intelligence and discuss the advantages of not. And you may include like 2 to 3 main steps to develop this kind of skill. But overall, it was really a wonderful and motivational speech. As for me, I've learned a lot from your speech today. Thank you so much. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gerda, for that evaluation. One thing I would say for your evaluation today is, in terms of the recommendation aspect, as an advanced club, of course, we're here to be better speakers. So I would really want you to use that vocal variety and stay in control with the recommendation. I recommend that you, but apart from that, that was a wonderful evaluation. Thank you so much. The next speaker is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Dipti. And when I asked Toastmaster Dipti about her thought on this theme, she said, I see metacognition, metacognition as the ability to step back and examine how I think, which makes me more intentional and effective in both learning and leadership. It is about cultivating awareness that helps me adapt, grow, and guide others with clarity. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Dipti.
Thank you so much. Warm greetings to all the Toastmasters and guests, and very special greeting to my target speaker, Toastmaster Wahiga. Is change opportunity or threat? Your entire speech was very good. That question actually set the tone beautifully for your speech. It was detailed and thoughtful exploration of change management through your story of your personal story. When there was a change in your organization, how did people behave? Where group of successful individuals chose to leave while others stayed back. They worked hard to close the gap. That story gave your message a lot of impact. Now, your slides added strong support to your message. Your font size was clear, making it easy for the audience to follow. And the images you selected were relevant and very persuasive. I particularly like special mention for two pictures. One which showed a scene of change, and the man was like he didn't know what to do. You spoke about anxiety and tension, and those expressions were visible on the person whose image you were showing. So that was a very good selection of image. And then there was the last one, where you actually revealed that catalyst of change is nothing but mindset. Our own mindset is the catalyst. At that point, the image which you had selected, face of a man and golden rays coming out from everywhere, that showed a lot of positive and growth mindset. So these two images actually took your speech, they supported your speech a lot. Just one mention for, there was one slide where you compared fixed and growth mindsets. It was very informative, but it felt a little cluttered. If you simplify that slide by breaking it into two visuals or reducing the amount of text, there may be many possibilities, but just breaking it down would make the contrast clear and easy for audience to see what actually you're showing on that slide. All other slides were well balanced and visually strong. Even in the first slide where you asked the question, is it good or is it a threat? You needed bold text, a little variation of text. It did not strike with your speech. So just these 2 points. What stood most was your slides encouraged us not to think about only change, but to think about our thinking. Metacognitive awareness, pausing to examine how our mindset shapes our choices. That made it even more interesting. It was a very nice speech, and best wishes for the future speeches. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dipti, for this evaluation. I would want to mention that while your evaluation was going on, I would have loved you to position your camera very well to see your eye contact so that the speaker would be well inclined with the evaluation. And finally, I would have loved to hear more evaluation on the way the content was presented. You kind of dwelled much on the slides deck, which is a good one, but next time I would want you to dwell more on the speech delivery. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deepti, and slowly, we are going there. We're going to the fifth evaluator for our fifth speaker for today's meeting. And the evaluator is Toastmaster Kenav Courier. Toastmaster Kenav, are you with us? Zoom Master?
Yes.
Do we have Toastmaster Kenav with us?
Yes, he's there.
Yeah, he is spotlighted.
Okay, spotlighted. Thank you so much. And you have the virtual lectern, Toastmaster Kenav.
Evaluation is the fuel for growth. That is the lesson that my target speaker wanted to tell. So it was a really good lesson. And since I had a conversation earlier, she wanted me to focus on two things. First is the structure. For the structure, she had a really good opening with a question. So asking a question is a really good way to engage the audience. So she asked the audience and she did a really great job about the car thing. Then having a good ending and a good closer by having, so those 2 points were good. And in between, I felt that there was a lag between two stories. They were forcefully fixed. I felt how she is talking about the car and then she randomly jumped about this happens in evaluation. So that was a little fixed. To make it in line, what you can do is start talking from the first itself. That I'll be talking about evaluation and car, something like that. And the second thing which you wanted me to look upon was the hand gestures. So the hand gestures, I really liked her hand gestures. So she was talking about light and she did this. And when she hit a bump, that was really good. And so there was really good hand gestures. Some hand gestures can be improved, that when you are saying about the first thing, this is the first thing, but you did not tell about what's the second thing by your hand gesture. You can say about it by your hand gesture, this is the second thing. And since we are a advanced club, you could add some humor as your pathway is engaging humor. So coming back to what is your second thing, you can say that your car bridge is broken. Maybe you are not, it's faulty. Second, maybe you are faulty. So it adds humor. You can add some humor in it. And otherwise, it has a really strong opening and really strong message, which I really like. And hand gestures were really good that I just pointed out. And but it was a really good speech. Back to you, the general ballot.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kenav, for that evaluation. One thing I would also say is the camera positioning. We were not really having your good eye contact as the evaluation was going on. And I also recommend that you also summarize the commendations and recommendations so that the speaker will find it easy in adoption. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kenav, for that. And that brings me to the end of the evaluation for our various speakers for today's meeting. Next is I would want Toastmaster Ray to please post the timing reports in the chat box. While that is ongoing, I would like to call on our grammarian for today's report. Toastmaster Helen, if you're here with us. And
Yes.
hello, and I hope I pronounced the name correctly.
Yes,
All
perfect.
right. Okay, thank you so much, and over to you for your report.
Here we go. The word of the day, consciousness, was used many times by several speakers during the meeting. A Toastmaster, Toast Amber, educational speaker, Jyothi, Irfan, general evaluator, Jinda, Jennifer, Gada, and everyone is encouraged to use the word during and outside the meeting. Besides, there were many quotes and thoughts that I liked so much, but due to the limited time, I only mentioned a few. For example, toast is not about what we do, but about the way we think about what we do. Educational speaker, every decisions in our life should be measured against our values. Free decisions, reflections change outcomes. If values are real, they must show up in behavior. Vinod, success without happiness is still lost, and you can live many lives in one lifetime. Jyothi, impact is created in awareness, not repetition. Toastmasters becomes a checklist when consciousness is missing. The first wave comes slowly, the next wave hits like a tsunami. And if an emotional intelligence is not controlling emotions, it is not letting emotions control you. In relationships, take a pause and win hearts. Gichinga, ironically, the people who were let go were the most successful people. And Lydiah, your speech is only as good as your last evaluations. And Gichinga, the only constant in life is change. So with this, I conclude my report. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, our grammarian, for today's meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to one of the parts of the meetings where we vote for the best effort evaluator. Mr. Zoom Master, please kindly launch the poll. While the Zoom Master launches the poll, I would like to give my general comments as regards the meeting from the inception till now that we're talking about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Zoom Master have launched the poll. Please go ahead and choose the best effort evaluator. The meeting in that room was open at exactly 2 p.m. my own time. And the greeter, of course, really welcomed everyone to the meeting with the best smile and, of course, enthusiasm. Members joined the meeting while they felt very passionate about it. We have had a range of speakers who have made presentations. I would say that everyone here has done his best to see the meeting has become what it is. And we would all be living today with a lot of clarity and, of course, impact. One of the recommendations that I would want to make is for us as members of Leadership Speak to always update our forms if we are speakers and if we are evaluators, so that would give a very good flow and synchronization, that every evaluator would be giving his view of what he thinks about the theme of the meeting before he's called upon. I believe that will make it fantastic in terms of delivery. As regards the timing, of course, as long as we overshoot the time, it would not really captivate some of us that are maybe having other engagements to do after the meeting. But I personally believe that as long as value is given, which we always give in our club, it's something that we can also look upon to the best of our ability. We always start on time. And I believe by the time we follow the agenda, try to like skip some comments or talk that will make the meeting last longer, that will really make it very impactful. And that will also give us the opportunity to have more guests to interact with at the end of the meeting. All in all, I would say that it was a wonderful meeting. I have really enjoyed myself and learned a lot. And at this stage, I would say thank you so much for having me. And back to you, Toastmaster Joyce, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, our General Evaluator Buhari, for taking up that role and also for taking us through that evaluation session. At this point, I will welcome Nelly Jane to give us the thought of the day. And when I asked Nelly what she thinks about today's theme, she said that she's continuously learning and developing herself. She views metacognitive leadership as the ability to be the Toastmaster of one's own mind. Nelly, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, Joyce.
Over to you.
Thank you so much, Joyce. Fellow Toastmasters, have you ever reacted on a moment and later thought, I wish I had handled that differently? Our theme for today is leading with metacognitive awareness, which basically means becoming the leader who doesn't just think, but thinks about their thinking. And personally, I realized that most of my leadership oops moments happen when I'm on autopilot. I respond too fast, I decided too quickly, I reacted before my brain even checks with my heart. And metacognitive awareness is that gentle pause where I catch myself and ask, is this the best response? Or it's just my first impulse? What stood out to me from today's meeting is how powerful it is to pause before you respond. Because leadership is not always about being the quickest voice in the room, but also about being the clearest mind in the room. And when we notice our thoughts, we also gain choice. And when we gain choice, we gain leadership. And so today, let us remember, we need to pause before reacting. We need to think about our thinking. And we need to lead, not on autopilot, but with awareness. And next time you catch yourself auditing your thinking, that's metacognitive awareness in action. And that, my fellow Toastmaster and guest, that is leading with metacognitive awareness. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Nelly. Let's pause before reacting. And as we wrap up today's meeting, let's take a moment to reflect. Metacognitive awareness is thinking about our thinking, is the key to growth, better decision, and conscious leadership. Every time we pause, observe our thoughts, and choose our response, we step closer to becoming the leaders and communicators we aspire to be. So let's live here, not just spoken and listened, but having reflected, learned, and committed to thinking with intention. I'll finish with a quote. We cannot solve problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. And now, drum rolls. As I call our peer master, are we ready with the results so we can acknowledge our better speakers, our better evaluators? Drum rolls. Ooh, well done, Jyothi. Our best effort speaker is Jyothi Thomas. Well done, well done. Wow, and the best evaluator is my evaluator, Hannah Shomeir. Well done, well done, well done. And now I will invite our president, Holmes, to kindly come and engage our guests. Over to you, President Holmes.
Thank you so much, Joyce. It is an honor for me to represent the club, to speak to the most important people in every single one of our meetings. Yes, you, the guest. First up, I'd like to have a short check with Kadisha. Kadisha, are you available? Is it convenient for you to switch on your camera as well as your microphone?
Yes.
Hello, Kadisha. I acknowledge you have been here for a few weeks, in fact. At earlier weeks, I noticed that I didn't manage to catch you post-meeting. So very happy here that you are here and we can speak to you. How do you find the meeting so far?
Oh, thank you, Toastmaster Holmes. It was an excellent meeting. In fact, the thought I had as I reflected on the meeting was that I felt as if I was at a conference. It was well executed, well planned, and from the many shares, it seemed as if you had a dress rehearsal. I guess that contributed to the flawlessness of the meeting. It was well done. I enjoyed it. Many takeaways. In particular, I was just amazed by the educational speaker. And my greatest takeaway from the entire message, although there are many, is to personalize it. I rise. He mentioned innovation and rise from Toastmaster. And as I walk into being a self-directed leader, my mission statement is I rise. I rise in respect, integrity, service, and excellence for myself and for others. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kadisha. I'm so happy that you have a good takeaway for today. I sent you my contact. I look forward to speaking with you. Thank you so much, Kadisha.
I as well. Thank you all.
Tapiwa, are you available to turn on your camera as well as your microphone? Tapiwa, in case you are not available now, I'll just move on. If you are, you can just raise your hand in a while later. I'll move on to some other guests. Leah, are you available? Leah? I'll move slightly quicker. I note most of the guests have their cameras and microphones off. If I call you unavailable, please give me a signal. Marie Michelle. Michael Jose.
Yes, I'm available. Thank you, President Holmes. It's nice to meet you again. It's my pleasure always to have such a wonderful opportunity to enjoy such nice Toastmaster meetings with 5 prepared speakers, and it's really, really enjoyable. And many evaluators presenting high performance always. Thank you, Holmes, for your invitation.
Thank you so much,
For me,
Michael. It's a pleasure
thank
to
you
have
very
you
much.
here. Members and guests, I may not have mentioned this earlier. Michael is one of my club members from my club in China. And a struggle with China is that they do not have access to social media tools such as WhatsApp. Nevertheless, I'm so happy to see Michael here. This is not actually his first or second time visiting. Thank you so much, Michael, for being here and supporting
Holmes
me.
was very good president last year. The whole year we were having so-called Advanced Toastmasters Club. We missed you a lot. Thank you, President Holmes.
Thank you so much, Michael. just go through the list to make sure that I have. Yes, I think I covered the guest. With that, members and guests, we do have a post-meeting discussion and interaction section. You are welcome to join us and stay back with us for further discussion and reflect on your learning or any feedback that you may have. With that, let me hand back the time to our Toastmaster of the day, Joyce, to end this meeting as well as subsequently conduct the post-meeting discussion. Joyce.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Let me just take this opportunity to thank every role taker, every self-directed leader who took up their role, our speakers. We have so many takeaways. Thank you. Thank you so much. And with that, I wish to call our meeting adjourned. Zoom master, kindly stop the